So you might be asking yourself, Paige, how can I make sure I don't make a mistake and buy a franchise with a bad reputation? How can I find out more information? Well, the first thing to understand is when you look at a specific company, there's not going to be Google reviews and things like that that have a bunch of testimonials about what's good or bad about the franchise. That really doesn't exist. The first thing you want to think about is hiring a franchise expert like myself that's been doing this for almost 40 years, and someone who works with a company like FranNet, which I do work with, that vets over 300 companies. So we have a whole inventory team that looks at these companies, talks to the owners, go through their documents, so on and so forth. So one of the first things is to hire someone like myself that has gone through and vetted many of these companies. But then the most important thing is not to rely on me, but to rely on yourself to do a lot of the homework. So where does that start? Well, every franchisor has to publish a 200 to 300 page franchise disclosure document, and they have to file that with the Federal Trade Commission. And in that document, it'll tell you everything about the principals. Have they ever had bankruptcies? Is there any litigation against them or the company? How many people have left the franchise in the last 2 or 3 years? So there's a lot of information out there, and they have to disclose it to you. The next thing is talk to the owner. So it might not be something like litigation or money issues, but maybe the franchise owners are like, yeah, I'm not really getting what I'm paying for. I'm paying a 5 or 6 or 7% royalty, and I never hear from the franchisor. There's really not a lot of support there. So it's really, really important to talk to the franchise owners themselves. The other thing that you need to understand is you really want to bring in a franchise attorney, which I can help you with, before you sign any documents. And one of the roles that franchise attorney has is to do a complete background check on that franchise, make sure they filed everything appropriately, make sure there's no hidden litigations or pending litigations that maybe just came up and are not out there in their disclosure documents. And it's really important to follow all these different steps, and that's what I help people do. So that when you're ready to make that decision, you know that the franchise you're choosing has a good reputation and they do what they say they're going to do. So click on the QR code, set up a 15-minute call. I can give you a little more information on this, and then we can look into which businesses might be the right fit.